We often say that you don't unlearn business. In this episode, we're going to share with you 6 of the business lessons that you can take away and apply to everyday life.
Welcome to the Bookkeepers Podcast, sponsored by Xero.
So, Joe, we talk about failure a lot in business.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one of the things that we can't deny we've learned a lot from is failure and actually being okay with that and being okay to talk about it.
Yeah, I think owning your past mistakes, talking about it with others, getting their perspective on it, because what I think we've learned is that what we feel about certain times in our business where we have kind of branded it as this big failure, someone else may look at it a bit differently and go, oh, but you did that and you did that and then you did this. So actually, was it really a failure or was it a chance to learn? And it's about removing the emotion from certain points in life and being, reflective. But then the next stage is reflecting yourself, but then to talk about it with others and own up. I think both myself and you have gained so much from that. And that's the beauty of community, but having a safe space to be able to feel that you can talk openly.
I don't think everyone's got that. I think we're really lucky that we've got each other to turn it around, because often in this community, people who are running businesses might be the only person that they know who's running a business. And when you haven't got somebody who can see it from a different angle, that can, compound the feelings you have. So we've spoken before about, me closing a business and you saying that seems to be the right decision you made at that point. And I can see why you made that decision with those sort of facts in front of you. Whereas I'd been thinking, oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. And having someone else's perspective is really helpful, because maybe if I'd run that past, let's say, my mum, who doesn't run a business, she would have thought, oh my gosh, how terrible. So, it really does depend on who we go to
talk.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think there is so much, it's not actually always about us when we share. When you start to share the times that you've had that are bad, you give permission to the person that you're speaking to be able to open up as well. I think the industry we are in as well makes it more difficult, because I don't know about you, but growing up, I saw accountants and bookkeepers as like the pinnacle of business success. So to actually own up and say, I didn't see that coming, is like kind of raw and shameful.
Yeah.
So I think there are other businesses that people are more open to sharing and saying it didn't work. So for example, hospitality, you need to have those customers, but like in COVID, if you couldn't open your doors, you could see why there was issues. But like with everything, there are businesses that can survive, or they close in certain times, or they can thrive. But everyone is in a different position at that point and has different, factors. And you have to take it all in holistically and have a good chat about it. But when we are in it, you can't see the wood for the trees. And that's why it's good to talk to others about it. But it takes a lot of balls to do it.
It does. And I think, once you've got that information, you can't unlearn what it's like to go through any kind of business failure. And I think what it's helped us to do is talk about, what does bad look like? Like, what are the warning signals for a future business?
What do we miss? What signals did we miss along the way that now we can see?
Yeah. That's power, isn't it? If you've decided like this is a KPI that I'm going to track now.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
It's a bit like a baby learning to walk. We don't say when they fall over the first time, oh, well, that's it. You're not going to be a walker. You had your one shot. You fell over. Don't bother trying again. Yeah. We encourage, come on, you can do it. You can keep doing it. You fall over, you get back up again. It's like with riding a bike or anything.
But school doesn't. And I think this is it. It's so inherently trained in us that you get it right or wrong and you're passing an exam. And even your bookkeeping and accountancy exams, you've got to get a percentage of it right to be right. But actually, I mean, in real life, you're not going to be doing a multiple choice question under exam conditions at a computer centre where you're not allowed to talk to your neighbour.
No. But as well, don't you find the more we've spoken about it, the more others have opened it up to us, and people that we perceive to be extremely successful are very open to sharing, it was not a straight line here. It was a bumpy road. And when you start realising that, and realising that actually you can pull on your experiences through the bad times and then help others, and actually in the business that we are in, you know, in bookkeeping, and that ends up being business coaching to our clients, if we can spot these things and speak from experience, that has a lot more clout.
Okay, so the second lesson that we've learnt, I think this is probably one of the hardest ones for me. You know, there have been so many occasions, particularly over the last few years, where we have put ourselves in rooms with people that we have potentially idolized in the past. You know, there are people in our business network now we never would have dreamed that we'd have the opportunity to sit down and have dinner with, or, you know, go to an event with. And it can be quite intimidating to be in that situation where you are like looking at this person and thinking, oh my gosh, I need to say something and it needs to be really smart, and I don't know, I'm going to say something really stupid.
And oh my God, I've had too many glasses of wine.
Yeah, usually, because I'm trying to like get my like courage to say something to you, and sound like I know what I'm talking about. But actually, we often, I think we don't give ourselves credit for what we can bring to any conversation. No,
we don't. And again, that is something that we've had to learn, and it doesn't come straight away by putting yourself in that room. I think it's by repeatedly putting yourself in that room, we have learned that we have something to share. And actually, it's not always about the things you think you want it to be about. I've had some really great conversations with really experienced and people that I look up to that come to me and say, I really want to talk to you about how you're homeschooling Rosie.
Oh yeah, you have.
Yeah.
I can remember us being at I've seen this has happened several times lately.
Yeah.
Because you're just talking, you're just opening up about
something that experience. I feel some shame around as well. And sometimes I feel like I have failed in that way. But other people are like, tell me more. How's it working? What happened? I want to know everything. What are the consequences? What's working well? What's not working well? And there was a time, and I still have it, where people go, oh, so she's not doing her GCSEs at the moment, and she's not doing that. And they have their own thoughts and feelings, which are very valid. And it's nothing that I haven't thought myself before. But then what I've done is I've started talking to them, and some people that I think are like mind-blowingly successful are like, I would love to do that with my child. Can I call you? Can I ask you more questions about this? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, I didn't realise. So I think we assume that there are certain areas that we need to have experience, but actually all of us have something that we can pull on and share and speak to someone about and add value to a conversation. And I've seen exactly the same with you, where people have picked you out and said, Zoe, I see what you're doing on LinkedIn. How are you doing it? What do I need to do? Help me out. You can't help also helping people that don't know that they need it.
It feels to me like you know about the experience I had at the car showroom.
I do. Also, my best friend, she was like, I've had this step-by-step plan off of Zoe about how I can build my LinkedIn. I'm not sure I asked for it, but it's really good.
Oh no, I've actually put that out of my mind. But the thing is, right, I always end up saying something really stupid. I can remember someone saying to me the other day, like, what's your secret? I'm like, nothing. I just like take selfies every day.
But you do a lot more than that. And people are... We can all see in somebody else what they're doing. The first time we went on a business trip, and we were with these people that we were like, oh my goodness, why are we here? Why are we here? And we'd just been on a skidoo, which is like a motorised bike, up a mountain.
Yeah.
We were scared because it was fast.
You were scared.
I was scared. I said the royal we. I was petrified. Got up the mountain, had a glass of wine, forgot I had to get down the mountain in the dark. And at that point, the guy that we were like, oh my God, I can't believe we're in the room with him, came over and said, would you and Zoe speak tonight in front of everybody and tell everyone your story? And I was like, why?
Yeah. Why? I didn't even think I was in that conversation. I was like, oh, do you need me? Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of part of Joe. And he's like, yeah, you as well.
And we sat there in front of this room of amazing entrepreneurs, told our story, and afterwards everyone come up to us and was like, oh my goodness, you're so inspirational. I love your story. You girls are doing great. And then I was like, oh. And I think it feels like showing off, but we see it as well in these groups, the difference between men and women as well, often. And that's why you need someone that actually pulls you out of a crowd and forces you to do this, because the guys are actually I'm not saying every guy, but there's a lot of big masculine energy and they want to tell their story and they want to do this. So he was great at pulling out us quieter ones.
Yeah.
And actually everyone had something to learn, whether it's about like parenting around our families or whether it was about the fact, and we spoke about business failure as well. And I think everyone was like, wow.
I think sometimes you've got to have someone say to you like what the thing is you can add here, because I can remember someone saying to us as well, and they said, you're a partnership. People are really interested in the dynamic, like how does it work? And I know that isn't the case for every bookkeeper, but there's going to be something about the way you're working that people want to know about.
And we think that with our community. We speak to our community all the time and say, not everyone's running a business like this. Other people want to know. Come on. And we try and do the same. We do offer our community that, don't we? I mean, we couldn't, at this year's Accountex, go and see all of our community that were speaking on stages because there was too many and we would have had to pick and choose. And there was so many on at separate times. And
it feels good, doesn't it?
It does. That's the best.
Yeah. Okay, the third one then, the third business lesson, your energy isn't consistent. I think we're really fortunate that there's two of us. So we'll find that we have this wave that we go through, and one of us will be like on top form and one of us won't, or if someone isn't,
one of us
the
is
other
having a nervous breakdown while the other one's like, woohoo, I'm fine. I'll take it all over.
Yeah. But I think also you sometimes have to step into that role when the other person is having something's going on. Like, I know it's going to be summer holidays soon.
Yeah.
I'm sure will go, Zoe, don't bother Zoe about that because it's the summer holidays or she's doing X, Y, Z. And then there might be something else. You've got lots of weddings to go to this year and we won't bother you. And I think it's like, we are lucky that we have that. But I think knowing you have a pattern or a rhythm, or certain times you're not going to be able to show up in the same way, you've got to know that so you can build the business and the commitments around it.
Absolutely. I think it's about, as well, designing your business around your life in a way. So we have done something recently as well, where when it is holidays, we kind of have a bit of a Zoom call. It's like, let's try and, okay, how can this look differently? So it's still, everything's ticking over, but so that if one of us is picking up, and that's the other thing we've done, if one of us is doing, like, is more in work while the other one's on holiday, how do we not make it so unbearable for, like, so that they don't need a holiday when you return?
Yeah.
But you can do that with your team. You can do that with support. So how start recognizing when in your energy dips. Maybe it's certain times of the month, maybe it's around school holidays, maybe it's around events. Something for us is like conferences. We used to not allow any time for recovery, but actually we really need that.
Yeah.
We need time to be able to implement what we've learned if we've been to a conference or something, and make a plan of action. So we've started, you have power over your diary. And even a simple thing like, when do you have more energy in the day? Are you a morning person or are you an evening person?
Yeah.
So where do you do your best work and focus it around then?
I love that. I'm just going to say it because I know lots of our audience are women, but if you will have a monthly cycle and there is a cycle, whether you have a monthly cycle or not, there's going to be a point at which your hormones are doing different things.
Yeah.
And naturally they do different things to your energy.
Yeah.
So if you can work around that and say like every fourth week, I don't have meetings.
Yeah.
That might massively change the way you show up in your business.
And like for me this year, I had a real issue with winter.
Yeah.
Like SAD, seasonal affective disorder. I mean, I started on vitamin D, but there was a time where I was like, oh my goodness, I can't think straight. And, it's being like, okay, I need to sort this out, but I also just need to have a little bit of space because I'm not being my usual self. So if you don't have a business partner, with obviously lots of people don't have that, but you do have partners in your team that can help you. And that's why you need to be really like just aware of yourself and don't feel that you're being unproductive, you're being lazy. You just have more energy at some time. And we know sometimes we're like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, go, go, go. And the next week we might be like, not feeling it this week. And that's okay.
The most productive thing to do then is actually not to try and do it.
Yes.
That's literally.
Yeah, giving yourself permission.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get all like bookkeeper and accountancy now. Next tip is about your balance sheet. We had a great chat, didn't we? We went for dinner with Rachel Harris.
Yes.
It must have been a year ago now.
Yeah.
Do you think? And she was talking to us about the value of our business. And she asked us some questions and we were like, oh, hadn't thought of it like that.
Yeah. It's really strange, isn't it? We're in this business and we obviously produce balance sheets for lots of people. But actually looking at yours, but in a different way about the assets that you have in your business. We read a book by Daniel Priestley, 24 Assets, and he was saying that every business have these assets. And we got really focused on how do we produce all these assets and then leverage them. It's a bit like having a property. If you think of a property and you can get a return on income and rental income, return on investment, that's what we need to do with these assets. And what were the assets that we needed and things like that? We've invested in the podcast.
Yeah.
This is one of our assets. This is a marketing asset. We invested in a book. We invested in the audiobook. And they were like, they are assets that are going to keep on working for us when we don't have the energy to.
Yeah. And I think it's that, it's how do you see the thing or focus your attention or the energy we were just talking about on the things in your business that are going to pay dividends over and over again for you rather than that sort of lost time that is like an expense. Because that obviously makes more sense in terms of effectiveness of how you're using your time, but also always asking the question, like, where's the value here? Is this worth it? Is this making a difference? When I think about the goal and the purpose, is what I'm doing right now actually even worth it?
Yeah. Is it going to impact the balance sheet in a positive way?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Business lesson number 5 then. I think you and I are so focused on being productive all the time and we don't like the idea of being lazy. Yeah. And there are lots of tools out there now. Tools meaning software, AI, automation, bots, also people, if you want to think about that as well. And I think that there are things we can do to run our business, grow our business, scale our business, be more efficient in our business that we probably, if we are inclined to think about being lazy or versus not being lazy, we see those things as like a route to laziness and we feel uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
And we've got to stop because this is about growth.
Yeah, I think you've got to see each of the tools that you use in your business as an opportunity, but you need to figure out how you're going to use it. So if you see, you think of ChatGPT and you can get it to write content for you and bits and pieces. But what we do is we leverage our time using it and we say, what kind of content should we be doing? Yeah. Give us some ideas and then we run with it. So it saves us having to have that thinking, that blank page. Like that's how we use it a lot of the time. And then with other things, we're like always learning, well, how can we use it more? What can it do more? What do we not know about that? And that's for every piece of software. So it's not at all being lazy. It is if you use it in a lazy way. And I think there's different ways of doing it. So I think if you see something and think, oh, I'll just plug that in, but you don't actually spend it like a project and go, how am I going to do this? How am I going to systemize using this tool?
Yeah.
And how am I going to be getting consistently better on it and making sure, because nothing stays still.
No.
It's always moving.
Well, you set up some kind of automation and then straight away it I don't know, breaks or something. And then you have wasted your time investing in that anyway. But I like to think about reverse engineering it, particularly with AI. What am I actually trying to achieve here? How can I get there better using this tool from where I am at the moment?
Yeah. And I think there's something there about me and you always being on a learning journey. We never assume that we're done.
Mm-hmm.
We never assume we know everything. We always say we're not the gurus. We are always on a learning journey. And I have known people, particularly in employed places in the accountancy space, they get to a certain point and they feel like they're done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where there's going to be a lot of opportunity for people to be able to move people on. Like, I mean, when we did the survey from Xero about how many people are still not even in the cloud, that's because they feel like, I'm earning money, I'm doing this, all the boxes are being ticked and my clients are happy, it's all fine. But they've done their learning for their lifetime. They don't have space for that. And I think that is a business skill we have to know, that you're never done.
Well, you're gonna have a massive problem if you think you are, because AI is going to change the way we work. Like, what done means will be something different in the future.
Yes.
So the boxes that were ticked are going to be ticking. They're going to be ticked 5 times over in the time it took you to do it once.
Yes.
So we have to know what the tools are, and like I suppose the real maybe sort of takeaway from this, like tools don't make you lazy. Tools are how you're going to leverage your time, and they're actually how you're going to compete now. So you have to know how to use the tools.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to allow time in our very full up schedule to learn, to always be the student when it comes to this.
Okay, number 6. This has been such a big one for you and me. This is about how our past and our money stories can impact how we make decisions. I can remember when we were driving from Manchester down to Brighton, and I convinced you to stop at Bicester Village.
It was not on the way, but hey ho, yeah.
And we ended up, I don't think we did any shopping actually.
You did. You went to Ted Baker and you bought a new outfit.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about my money stories. We went and had a cup of tea.
We did.
And you said, did I want you to buy me out of Six-Figure Bookkeeper, because I hadn't really had a proper heart-to-heart about money, I don't think, at that point.
No, and I think I was seeing things in your actions that made me think that you wasn't in it, but it wasn't that at all. It was your money story playing out and your security story playing out. So you was like, I'm not okay with putting all my eggs in one basket, because for me that seems risky.
Yeah.
And I want security. Whereas I saw it as like, you don't believe in this.
Yeah.
And you feel that or you're bored with it. I didn't know, because we hadn't had the conversation. So exactly what we were speaking about earlier, we all believe what it means to us and what we see, but through our own lens and through our own stories.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that at all. And we had a good old cry.
Oh, we had so much. Yeah, so much.
I mean,
crying.
we ended up in Brighton about 10 o'clock at night. We had so much tea.
Oh, yeah, that was the spooky, like, basement flat.
Yeah.
That was terrifying.
That was awful.
Haunted basement
Murder
flat.
mansion.
But the moral of this story is, we all have a past, like we all have like a background that has some kind of money story attached to it, whatever you do. And we talk about this actually in the Bookkeepers Collective when we're talking about goal setting right at the beginning of the program. And because we need to know what might influence our decisions. And if we're aware of those stories, we can then review the decisions we're thinking about making from a point of, is this actually driven by fact and reason from a sort of outside disconnected point of view, or is this based on some kind of emotion that's coming up right now?
Yeah. And also, we might need to reach out and get some help.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had to do that. We've had it's like we've had couple counselling. Yeah. But we've had to, because there's sometimes where my story and your story and decisions going forward mean that we can't make a decision because you feel really strongly about something and I feel really strongly about something. And we've had to unpick it all and understand. And your family goals and my family goals are different. So when it comes to business, you need to have some awareness around what you're bringing to the table from your past. How is it going to influence the decisions you're making? Is that serving you? Or is that actually going to make running a business tougher? And how can you unpick some of that so that you can make decisions without that cloudy judgment from childhood or young adulthood, whatever it is, mean that you're making decisions out of fear rather than actually being really constructive and going, I'm making this because this is the right choice.
I think it's helpful to bring somebody in, isn't it, who can, what it is like couples counselling. I mean, running a business together, and if you're working alone, if you're a sole practitioner, or if you're the sole director of a company, but you're doing this at home around your family and your partner maybe works, there's still a dynamic. You said to me before in another episode about how when you decided you were going to become a self-employed bookkeeper, or you decided to start a practice when Paul, your husband, had been made redundant, and he said, this bookkeeping thing, you've got to make this work now. There's always a decision or some kind of influence or something that's coming up. And I think we do have to kind of be counselled through it, because it's really, when you've got that sort of weight and pressure on you, it can feel really difficult to make the decision.
So I think our top tip around this is know that you are bringing history. Everyone's got some kind of story, some kind of feel about what success looks like, what people that have money look like. Maybe like there's so much more, I think, fear of success than there is a fear of failure a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But people don't realise it. They're like, of course I want all the money. But actually, do you? What is that saying in the back of your head? What is the little mind monkey saying to you? So be open to realise that you may need to talk to somebody, and also, if you have a partner or family, they might all be thinking, I've heard so many times people say, I want to start a bookkeeping business, but my family think I'm mad for leaving this job that I have and I've got all this security. So you've got other people's money stories you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
So get it out there, talk about it, get someone that's impartial and that's not going to be impacted personally by your decisions to give you that kind of view from an outsider.